Okay, so good morning, boys and girls. So here we go. I'd like to give a shout out and a thank you for, I see is Shojiber. He emailed me and told me he liked the story, uh, and keep it up. That's good. All right. So here I'm going to give you, in a process of time, on page 62, brain boxing. You ready? Buckle your seats. Here we go. Okay. When he first introduced the opportunity to me, I was, I have to admit, I was a little more reluctant than tempted. June was the boss of security guards who worked in many nightclubs, bars, taverns throughout the area. He insisted, begging me, oh, just once. You'll never get caught. While well into the conversation, I realized I was way further in than I thought, than I should have been, into the relationship that was. Now, June wanted me to stick up some kid named Arden. Now, Arden worked at the hardware store part time during the week and security guard on the weekends. But what made this job bad was, see, I didn't know Arden, at least not like that. I mean, I just worked with him a few times, but aside from the job, he was a stranger. I guess June had got word of his wife messing around with him on Arden. If you ask me, it was bound to happen sooner or later, considering that June paraded Lavira, his wife, around like some trophy, more like a prize dog on a leash. Now, June was one of those dudes you just couldn't say no to. He always had to have his way, and you couldn't say no to him. You just couldn't refuse him. Meanwhile, I mean, look at this. He was offering me a handsome amount of cash under the table at that, just to rough up some kid I hardly knew. And even if I didn't know if this dude was intentionally or not, but coming from June, it might have been an indirect hit. Because just to be dirty about the whole arrangement, it happened. He wanted it to happen right in front of this hardware store. Pulling me aside, June said, here's 23,000. Meet me at the hotel today. I'll call you before anything happens. Do whatever you have to. I'll take care of the rest. I can remember seeing the money for the first time. Didn't know what to think of. I didn't know what to think about it at first. I thought pitching me this opportunity. I can't do it. I can't do this. But now, looking at all this cash, it was Wednesday. The day after I went on my job with Arden at the cafe nightclub, he was boasting about him and Lavira, saying how good she was, how she liked him. I just brushed it off. First, I realized he was just trying to get on my good side, which wasn't easy considering, like I said before, I didn't know him. I mean, he even mentioned spending weekends out in the Heights, a ritzy section of town, where June owned a few houses. Now, if I were one of Arden's friends or hangout buddies, I'd say to myself in the conversation, like this, hmm, with him, but like I mentioned before, he and I weren't friends. We weren't enemies either. We just didn't know each other. On Friday, June had me meet up at the hotel. He called me about 7:30, says he'd explain everything, what to bring, the ins and outs and whatnots. I must admit, I was nervous driving through town, but not about getting caught. No, no. Like I said before, I had no qualms with the kid. I guess I couldn't see myself doing such a thing. But once I thought about the money, that changed everything. Everything. Anyway, we were down near the lobby of the hotel. June passed me a small briefcase covered with black cloth. I guess I wasn't expecting this money like this so soon. As I clenched the briefcase, sounds like I wondered, why was he giving me this first? I shortly realized it was the weapon, a sawed off shotgun. It looked like the gun my dad used for hunting when I was a kid. June began to call me exactly what was going, began to tell me exactly what was going to happen and what was going on and what I needed to do and what needed to take place. Use these, he said, passing me a pair of latex gloves. I'll shut off the alarm, but make sure, but make haste. Don't waste any time, he said. I didn't know what it would run into. June insisted it had to be done within that hour, as that about the amount of time it would take before the alarms systems clicked back on. Take the ruby nickels, take the ruby necklaces stashed in the kitchen cabinet. There's also $1,400 taken. tucked away in the cup besides the stash. Beside the stash of the bowl. Take them for their troubles. I want this to look like a robbery. June said to me, he said the apartment would make an investigation, look for a burglary. Huh? I was confused. He elaborated, explained better. As I was about to step away, June pulled me back. Don't drive, I said. Ride your bike, then come get the money. If you have to drive, take your car halfway to the crime scene. Leave a fast leave as fast as you can. Get out of get off of the bike and then ditch it somewhere in an alley or something. Then bring your car. I don't care. I'll get someone to call police about 20 minutes afterwards. In the meantime, you just focus on getting your money. On Friday night, things were going according to plan, at least from the beginning, they were. I had a glove and the gun was in my front pocket. I must admit, I was a little nervous, terrified, if you want me to be completely frank, breaking in through the back entrance. I heard the sound of shattering glass as it fell to the floor. Think about the money. I reopened, repeated to myself in my head. I started to see my reflection through the glass futon china cabinet. It was hard enough to see in the dark, not to mention trying to see through the black nylon pulled over my stocking. The black nylon stocking can pull over my face. I had been in the house for 15 minutes already. I was timing myself. I quickly reached into my cabinet for the $1,400. Then I went upstairs. There they were, both of them, lying in the bed. It all happened so fast. 3 shots spurred out of the revolver. 2 hit Lavera. 1 hit Arden. I later learned that Arden had been paralyzed from the waist down. And then Lavera died instantly as one of the bullets severed her vertebrae. Damn, I thought, running out the back door and rushing to my bike. I left. I ditched the bike near the public phone booth. I started to pour it. Started pouring down rain. I shouted, screaming, colorful imperfect, and bringing myself, or my hands, my glove, like bringing my and banging my hand on the glass wall of the phone booth. June, June, what do I do? I messed up. Slow down, he says. Slow down, it's okay. By the time I made it back to the hotel, police were already there at the crime scene. All I remember hearing was June say, just stick to the robbery plan. Twice he yells, just do what you're told. Do it. I was out of breath and still this June pulled me aside and handed me $23,000 in cash. More money than I'd even seen in my life. I invested the money in a trust fund. I had been taught my whole life that if I worked hard, it would pay off. The sad truth is, that's not always true. Sick story. Crazy. It's a fictional story out of brain boxing. It's called In a Process of Time. Interesting, interesting way of looking at things. Life is not all, not, not all what they say. They teach you get a job and all this stuff and work hard, do what you're supposed to do. I don't know. Hey,